Go ahead and sign in.
You need a pen?
Mom says I'm still contagious.
Skip the chaos and the germs. Log in to waitfromhome.com. See wait times at over 15 UMC clinics. And when it's time to come in, we'll call or text. Skip the wait. Waitfromhome.com.
Welcome to the RedRaiders.com postgame show brought to you by UMC Health Systems. I'm Don Williams alongside Krista Pirtle. We're here in Fayetteville, Arkansas at Razorback Stadium after a maybe a little bit unexpected 35-24 Texas Tech win against the Razorbacks on Saturday night. Tech comes in as a 12-point favorite and leaves with its third victory in the last 4 trips up here to Arkansas. Krista, what stood out to you?
Just the balance of the Texas Tech offense. One thing that's key for Patrick Mahomes this year, I think he's able to put up such gaudy numbers so far because there's not a ton of pressure on him. He can hand the ball off to DeAndre Washington, to Justin Stockton, who get their yards. He can pass it to Jakeem Grant, to Reginald Davis, who had some career-high numbers tonight. So he really has a lot of weapons to use, and they're really firing for him. What did you think, Don?
And and one of the other things is Devin Lauderdale. There are people tweeting me during the game going, is Devin Lauderdale hurt? Is he in uniform tonight? And I said, they're watching on the tight-angle television, and I said, no, he's been out there the whole time. He just hasn't been targeted. So Texas Tech puts up 35 points, and the guy that you would generally think is maybe at least the biggest big play guy was really not much of a factor until the second half tonight.
And he wasn't. And for me, the biggest play, and I afterwards kind of looked at you and went, wait, what just happened, was when Jakeem Grant takes the pitch and throws a 72-yard pass down to Reginald Davis. And was that Jakeem that threw that? And apparently he had kind of struggled with that during practice, but it paid off well tonight for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I think, that's one thing I think that you got to have sometimes when you're playing in a really hostile environment. You're a double-digit underdog. You might need a little bit of a creative big play to spark the team, and Cliff Kingsbury pulled that out of his bag tonight. There in the second half, they lined up in the pistol formation, snap it to Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes pitches it to Jakeem Grant. He had Reginald Davis open downfield, let me think, about 35, 40 yards. Davis caught it at about the 40-yard line, so Jakeem threw it a good 30, 35, 40 yards or so, and he threw it pretty much right on the money. And, the thing with that one is, the thing with a play like that is you have an inexperienced passer, and then Reginald Davis is so wide open that the pressure's on, just catch the ball, don't drop this thing, and he did.
Absolutely, and we've started this thing talking out about the offense, but defensively, Texas Tech allowed just 3 points in the second half. Don, what stood out to you on that side of the ball?
Well, I'll tell you, the Tech had a huge playmaker tonight, and that was Deshaun Johnson at safety. You're talking about a redshirt freshman here, and a lot of people have been concerned about Deshaun Johnson because he's a kid who played cornerback last year. He only weighs 179 pounds, 5'10", but tonight 16 tackles. He also made a couple of huge plays late in the game. Late third quarter, it's 28-21. Tech trying to protect the lead. Arkansas driving. Hogs at the 4-yard line, 3rd and 3, and Deshaun Johnson shoots through and throws Raleigh Williams, one of the running backs, for a yard loss. Arkansas has to settle for a field goal there. So Tech keeps that lead at 28-24. And then late fourth quarter, the game's probably already over at 35-24, but just for good measure, when Arkansas gets the ball back the last time, Deshaun Johnson gets a stand-up strip and recovery from Alex Collins, which kind of puts the cherry on top. It was a heck of a individual performance by him tonight. We asked Cliff Kingsbury about that after the game. He said, yeah, that's how, they used him at Ennis. They've set him up about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage and just had him go chase the football. Said once he got here, he had to learn the defense, learn our schemes, but he's going to try to shoot down there and make a play on the ball if it's anywhere near him. And boy, did he ever deny it. It's going to be nice, I think, for Texas Tech to, particularly a team that's been so lacking in defensive productivity for the last several years, to have a guy like that who's just a freshman play like he did this evening.
Absolutely. It was really impressive. What else kind of stood out to you, Don?
Well, I think the most impressive thing, I think maybe the most impressive thing, just generally speaking, is the fact that Tech was in control of this game really from start to finish. They went out and they took it right down the field and scored the first touchdown to make it 7-0. Arkansas gets even. Tech goes and scores again to make it 14-7. Arkansas ties again, 14-14. That's when Tech retaliates with the Grant touchdown pass. They go in 21-21 at halftime, and I thought the biggest drive of the game for Tech was coming out to start the second half, and they take it right down the field and score again. And there were 3 third-down conversions on that drive, and we also saw 3 runs by Patrick Mahomes on that drive, one that went for 21 yards. He had a fantastic block by Justin Murphy that sprang that one. If you watch on the highlights, look for Justin Murphy. He's the initial guy that opened the hole. Mahomes had another 16-yard run, then he had a 2-yard run to finish it off when the Red Raiders were kind of using a little double tight end formation with Brad Pearson and Robert Castaneda, who's an offensive lineman who put on that number 99 and lined up as tight end eligible a couple of times tonight. So Red Raiders 35-24 win this evening at Arkansas. They knew, and we talked about going into the week. You got the toughest 3-game stretch of the season that started tonight. Game at Arkansas. Then you face the 2 teams that at least at the beginning of the year were perceived to be the 2 best teams in the Big 12, defending co-champions TCU and Baylor. This coming Saturday, it's TCU at Jones Stadium, and the week after that, Baylor down at Jerry World. So the work's not done, obviously, but I'm thinking it's kind of a big load off the Red Raiders' shoulders to ensure that they at least get 1 win out of this 3-game stretch. And Krista, well, we would be remiss if we did not mention that this victory was especially satisfying for Cliff Kingsbury. Could you believe that post game?
Just a little bit, and I kind of like to see a little fire out of Coach Kingsbury. Usually he's pretty even-keeled and he'll answer some questions, but he did. He, mentioned that Coach Bielema had mentioned some things at the
Texas High School Coaches Association convention this summer.
He was not pleased with that, and this win felt pretty good to him.
Yeah, I mean, he said that Brett Bielema walked into the coaches convention this summer and said, if you don't play with a fullback, we'll kick your, you insert the beep.
Beep.
And if you don't, and if you throw it 70 times a game, we'll kick your
beep.
Well, he just got his
beep
kicked tonight, and probably will. He's just got it kicked 2 times in a row, and now will probably happen again next week by Texas A&M. That's just about word for word what Cliff Kingsbury said. That's not our words. That's what Cliff Kingsbury said tonight.
But we inserted the beeps for your viewing pleasure.
Well, you've probably already seen it before you have heard about this video. I think that had gone viral, as they say.
Oh yeah.
So anyhow, a big win for Texas Tech tonight, 35-24 over Arkansas here in Fayetteville. Full recap of the game, column, game story, notes, player of the game, quotable. Wonder what that'll be. Columns by myself and Krista. And so full coverage there at redraiders.com, lubbocksonline.com. Stick with us throughout this week as we get you ready for Texas Tech against TCU on Saturday at Jones Stadium. It's going to be a 3:45 p.m. kickoff. For Krista Pirtle and for Mark Rogers, our video editor, I'm Don Williams from the Avalanche-Journal. Everyone, thanks for joining us on the Red Raiders postgame show, courtesy of UMC Health Systems.